Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Wednesday. It is hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. I'm back to my curly hair. Middle of the week, right? Crossover towards the weekend. We're on day 13 of self-love. Hello. We're on day 13 of self-love, and today is Self-Care Wednesday. So I have this picked out for today. Stop being too tough on yourself. Stop being too tough on yourself. So let's get rolling. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Um Kind of all over the board here, but it's okay. It's okay, right? Because that's why I love the lives. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to amend about a comment I made yesterday. Uh I was talking about how one of the reasons I do this show is that so people younger than me don't wait so long to get to this point where, they just start healing. But what I also forgot, and this is something I always try to make it a point of saying, I forgot about the people my age or older, right? My age or older. We I also do this show for those of us because I want people to know and I want people to realize that it doesn't matter how old you are. Healing can come at any age. You can be 99 and 3/4 and healing can come, but it's up to you to choose that. Good morning, baby sibling. Happy hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. I know. I always do that extra for her, guys. But yeah, so yesterday I said about the younger people, find that healing so you don't have to wait until you're my age to get there and then you lose all this time. But like I said, if you are where I am or you're beyond me at this point, find the healing anyways, because you're never too young to start living and to start living a life where you're not carrying all this emotional baggage. All right. So that was my clarification for the comment I made yesterday. And so again, day 13, stop being too tough on yourself. Stop being too tough on yourself. Not everything you think is true. We all have a critic who wants to keep us tiny and secure. The drawback is that it prevents us from living complete lives. One of the biggest things that might prevent someone from loving themselves is being too hard on themselves. Now, we talked about this the other day, right? Forgiving yourself and how we're hard on ourselves. And this is a big thing. And I know you probably feel like maybe I'm being a little repetitive, but I'm not, because the whole point of doing this whole self-love thing and then some of the follow-up shows I'm going to have after this is that we want to go deep. We want to pull out those, there's good weeds like dandelions, and then there's weeds that kill everything in the garden. And those are the weeds we want to pull out, right? Not the ones that we make wishes on, but the ones that, and also feed the bees and all that stuff. No, we want to pull out the ones that are killing everything around us, and that's, in a way, it's for me, one of the perfect metaphors for my own healing journey. Because if you look at a vine, right, or you look at the weeds in your garden, you think, oh my God, my flowers are dying, this is dying, that's dying. And you realize it's because this one weed has just grown out of control and it's choking the life out of this beautiful plant that you have. Well, you're the beautiful plant. And this killer weed is inside of you, just not that kind of killer weed. This killer weed is inside of you, just choking the life out of you and making it hard. Maybe you struggle and you have one of those days where you can barely get out of bed. That may or may not happen after you heal. Okay, I mean, depression is a funny thing, so and everybody's different. But when it comes to the emotional trauma, the physical trauma, the emotional baggage that we might carry, even the physical baggage that we might carry. I mean, I'm an emotional eater and it shows. But, that's what self love is about, right? I'm not going to sit there and look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, well, you're an emotional eater. Shame on you. Look what you did to yourself. No, I used to do that, but I'm not that person anymore because I'm learning how to love the inside and the outside. I'm learning to see who I am and to just be who I am in this moment at this time. And that's the whole point of this self-love. And when we're too hard on ourselves, when we're tough on ourselves, we struggle to move into that center of love for ourselves because we're so busy being our own inner critic and then also being everybody else's critic, right? Like, oh, well, they must be thinking this about me. Them over there, they're thinking I'm this. Those people I haven't even met yet, they probably don't like me either. And no, those are real things. We look around and automatically think people just don't like us. Yesterday I was at Starbucks, right? And this guy kept eyeballing me. And I was just kind of like, and he was, you could tell he was kind of the social butterfly of this Starbucks. All right. And, he's stopping, he's talking, and all these people who I guess are regulars there, because it's not my regular Starbucks, because obviously I don't live in this county anymore. But, except for right now. But yeah, but then, and finally he just started talking to me because he noticed one of my stickers on the back of my computer. And I think, and I'm thinking, oh, is he going to say something to me? Am I at his favorite table? But then I caught myself and thought, you know what? Don't worry about all that. And then we had a conversation. We talked about Harry Potter and we talked about all kinds of stuff. But but I was quick to judge. I was quick to judge about all these things. So, you know, we got to stop. We got to stop the inner critic in its tracks. Now, getting rid of it, it's not always that easy. And again, that's where self-love comes in. When we learn how to forgive ourselves, when we learn how to be creative. When you're creative, you're getting out of your mind, right? You're moving into a center place where you're not overthinking everything. That was another one, right? What was some of the? Let's go through some of the ones that we've had in the past. Okay, so uh, understand that sometimes societal expectations offer unrealistic standards. That was day 2, if you want to watch that video. But yeah, we're tough on ourselves when we think we're not living up to societal expectations, right? Embrace the fact that you can't control everything. That's day 4. Yeah, we can't control everything. And on those days where we think we can and then we fall to pieces, we're going to be tough on ourselves. Um, being unique, check in with yourself emotionally, forgive yourself. Day number 7, forgiving yourself. These are all things that we can look back on. Give yourself permission to love your body. That was day 10. That was Monday. Monday? No, Friday. Last Friday. Sorry, that was last Friday. But yeah, give yourself permission to love your body. We can be so tough on ourselves, right? You pass a mirror, you're just like, oh, or you pass a window. Just remember, guys, sometimes those reflective surfaces out in the world, out in the wild, they're kind of skewed a little bit. So don't, sit there. I mean, if you look like you're like, oh, hey, okay, then great. But if you look at yourself and you're kind of like, oh boy, that's bad, just remember, not all 2 windows are made the same, and not all reflections are made the same. But that's a good time to remind yourself, I am enough. The minute you have a negative thought, just, I am enough. I'm not going to give you something longer because I am enough should be enough until you're ready to move on to something more powerful. I am capable. I am amazing. I am a loving, human, awesome being. But for right now, those 3 words should be enough. I am enough. And you can look in the mirror and pretend you're looking at something that, good morning, Cassie. Yeah, see, we're all guilty of being hard on ourselves. We're all guilty of letting that inner critic shine a little bit too much. And again, a lot of times that inner critic is designed to keep us safe, right? It's designed to keep us, as it says in here, tiny and secure. My inner critic, after my own childhood trauma, it was just because I figure if I don't mess anything up or I don't say anything, no one's going to be mad at me because I already had a skewed, opinion of myself. I already felt icky, right? And why add to that? And that's the whole inner critic thing. And it's taken me years to get to this point because I let it take years to get to this point. Like I said, and this is something I said yesterday, at 52 years old, I've decided that I'm tired of the inner critic. Is she always going to be there? Probably. Do I need to give her the spotlight? Absolutely not. But I mention my age because it's like I said yesterday. One of the reasons I do this show is to show people, and also clarified this morning, one of the reasons I do this show, it's not to just put my face out there, right? There were people in this world who helped me by doing things like this, by writing, by talking, by doing podcasts. And, there were people that I made friends with as well. And baby sibling actually encouraged me to do this show. She's all like, you're really good at these mini blogs. Maybe you should try something bigger. And so, first it was called one thing, then that became a whole thing. And then a friend of mine helped me come up with the Aloha Perspective, and it became this thing. And, but I share my story to help others heal theirs. I'm not saying you have to heal yours and go out and do something like this. Just be there for other people. You don't know what anyone's going through. They may be the happiest person in the world, but today might be a bad day. And so just be there for them, because when we heal ourselves, we're learning how to pour from a full cup. And you cannot pour from a full cup unless you have that self-love. You cannot learn how to pour from a full cup unless you learn how to fill that cup with your own joy, not just the joy that you create for others, but your own. And so the reason I mention age is because, I want people who are way younger to not wait so long to just let this stuff go. And the people that are older or my age, I want them to remember, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter how old you are, or again, how young you are. Healing doesn't have an age. Healing comes when you are ready for it and when you are able to allow it to happen. And yes, I said allow it to happen. You have to give yourself permission to heal. Sometimes that's what some of us need when you have trauma brain, or when you have, mental, a dinged up mental health like me, which is both, right? You have to give yourself permission, because sometimes that's what it took, right? You didn't have control over something. You didn't give someone permission to do something. And, that happened to you. And so now you're giving yourself that permission. You're healing that part of you, because you're saying, you know what? This is what I will and will not accept. This is what I will and will not allow into my life. This is what I will, allow to be removed from my life if necessary. The only way to stop being so tough on ourselves is to release that inner critic. Now, when I say our inner critic, yeah, sometimes there might be that moment where you're like, you're going to stand in front of the mirror and go, and you're going to change your outfit about 10,000 times. All right. That's not the inner critic we're talking about. That's just you going, I want to look perfect. And that's okay, because we're human, right? We're human. Maybe it's a first date, or maybe, you're going out with friends and you just want to, feel your shiniest. And, don't overthink it. I can say that all day, right? But I literally was trying to decide between 3 shirts this morning. 3 shirts. Okay. I'm still living out of my suitcase 2.5 months later. So, I don't have a lot of options, but, apparently the color of my shirt made a difference today. So anyways, but it's little things like that. There was a time in my life when that decision would have just like barreled me. I would have just been on the ground flat, like Lilo and Stitch, going, oh my God, throwing on the Elvis music, right? Well, maybe not. I grew up with an Elvis fan. So, yeah, had my fill. But, being dramatic, because, I can't lie. All right, I can be a bit dramatic like Lilo. I just need a Stitch, though. Well, maybe not. Anyways, I digress. Sorry, guys. That's my brain. That's how my brain works. I just go in 9 directions. But again, the drawback of that inner critic is it prevents us from living complete lives. And it does. I get it. Trauma can be hard. Childhood trauma can be hard. And that's across the board. I mean, there are different types of childhood trauma. Grief can hurt us. Like I said, it's been only in the last probably year, really, that I've finally come to terms with Mom and Sissy Joe having passed. I mean, I lost them both within 10 months of each other. And it's not that I healed the pain and that the grief is gone. Grief doesn't go away, guys. We'll never get over it, but we'll learn how to live with it. And I didn't want to learn how to live with it because I think for a long time I was angry that that cancer took them both. And then I was angry that, they weren't here. And then I was angry that I didn't have enough time with them because, my mom and I had a difficult relationship when I was growing up, and she wanted to keep me tiny and secure, and I wanted to just be me. I wanted to fly. And I get it. I'm her only child. She watched me with wires hanging out of myself when I was 3. Um she was just very overprotective. And I see it now and I understand it now. Sissy and I, our good times fortunately outnumbered our bad times, but boy, our bad times were wow. And I just feel like I didn't have the perfect amount of time with her when we finally found our true footing. And maybe that was what was meant to happen. I don't know. But it took me a long time to reconcile all of that in my head and to realize that I could use their passing as a reason to keep myself down or a reason to lift myself up. Because in the course of time since they both passed, I've healed. I've discovered things about myself that I'm not sure I ever would have. And, it's one of those everything happens for a reason kind of bullshit. And I say bullshit because everything really does happen for a reason. And we may not like it or not, but if we allow it to be a learning tool, we can move through it. Does that mean you're never going to be sad? No. The funny thing is, I have memories that on one day will make me laugh, and that same memory 2 days later might make me cry. And it's hard. It's hard. You know, I'm not saying that my path is the right path for you. When it comes to grief, I do know somebody right now watching that has struggled with their own grief, and I don't sit there and say, oh, just move past it. It's been X amount of time. No, because grief doesn't have a time period. When she's ready, you know who you are. I don't want to mention names because, when she's ready, she'll move forward. I have another person watching that has a living parent, but they're grieving that relationship because it fell apart, because of spectacular crap. Not my story to share, but there's grief there too. When we walk away from people, that doesn't mean we don't love them, and that doesn't mean we don't miss them. It means that we are tightening our circle and choosing what is best for us, because these people have proven they don't add anything to our lives. When we lose someone in death, especially when it happens like that, my mom got sick I should say my mom got diagnosed in May and she died in September, but she was falling apart from the minute, she started chemo. It was just, she went downhill so fast. And it wasn't enough time to wrap your head around. I know people who are caregivers to parents and in-laws who, are struggling with dementia, and that is the longest goodbye ever. But in a way, people, they get judged, right? They get judged. Their inner critic comes out. They get tough on themselves because people will say, well, why aren't you more sad when that person passes on? It's like, because they said goodbye a long time ago. It was just a matter of, seeing that. Baby sibling said that's exactly what. Oh, see, they know. Oh God, dementia is so hard. Oh yeah, baby sibling works in a facility. What is it? Like hospice? Is it hospice? Like end of life care? What do they call it? Palliative care. But I don't know. Every time I hear palliative care, I just think of pallets, like 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 food, like taste buds and stuff. I know, my brain. But anyways, this is what having a dinged up mental health is like. It's a fun ride, right? You don't know what direction you're going to go in next. But anyways, a point being, we have to learn how to solve and settle um the inner critic. Oh, okay, so it is hospice. And okay, yeah. And it's not a secret, Bestie Troy actually takes care of his mother-in-law, and he's for the most part a full-time caregiver because uh she's on I can't remember, but anyways, they're not rich. okay, by any stretch of the imagination. So, he gets about a 3 or 4 hour break, usually on Wednesdays, sometimes Fridays. But for the most part, 24/7, he is there for her. He is there, and his boo's the one working. So, you know, um, this is where government care also helps. You know, that's all I'm going to say about that. But we just have to be patient with ourselves. We're human. We're going to have bad days. All right. But we're also human. So we're also going to have good days. And the key is to let your good days outnumber your bad days. All right. As long as our good days outnumber our bad days, we're going to be okay. And the best way to do that is to silence that inner critic. Send them packing. All right. Or tell them, hey, if you want to be here, then all you get to do is choose what color lipstick you think might look good on me. And if I still like it more than you do, suck it. All right. That's what you can tell your inner critic to, hit the bricks, because it's basically you. You are your inner critic. You are this is your low confidence, your low self-esteem chiming in. This is your people pleasing side saying, oh, well, all that stuff. The inner critic is a negative aspect of ourselves because, it again wants to keep us tiny and secure. So we need to find a way to quiet that. And one of the best ways to quiet that inner critic is to heal. Heal whatever it is that is hurting you. That doesn't mean that you don't forget. Wait, did I say that right? It doesn't mean you forget. All right. It doesn't mean that you're just magically never going to remember all the things, from the past. But it means that when they do pop up, your response is way better than it used to be. My response in a lot of things, including my triggers, has improved by leaps and bounds. I mean, there are times when I check myself and it's like, whoa, good for me. And don't be afraid to give yourself those kudos, because what a lot of people don't understand is when you're healing some kind of emotional or physical thing, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of effort. And it's a struggle that a lot of people just don't understand and just can't comprehend. So, don't be shy. Give yourself that pat on the back, all right? So I'm going to read this one last time and then I'm going to let y'all go. Um, Again, day 13, stop being too tough on yourself. Not everything you think is true. We all have a the way I wrote this, it looks like cutie, but like legit. I mean, look, okay, I know you can't see it because it's backwards, but it literally looks like I wrote cutie. We all have a critic who wants to keep us tiny and secure. The drawback is that it prevents us from living complete lives. One of the biggest things that might prevent someone from loving themselves is being hard on themselves. So, maybe critic was supposed to look like cutie, because you know what? That's what you should be looking at. You shouldn't be looking at your inner critic. You should be looking at your inner cutie. All right. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Um, Cassie and Marie, thank you for popping on. Those are the ones I saw, guys. I saw extra people watching, but it didn't show up in the thingy. So thank you both for watching. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. And again, you can find me across the social media board, either under my name or the Aloha Perspective. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.